Hello and welcome back. My name is Not Ever, and I am beginning a brand new series today. It is the grand campaign, the full campaign for the Gary Grigsby's War in the East game, encompassing the entire eastern front of World War II, from the very bottom of the Black Sea, or not, perhaps the middle of the Black Sea, all the way up there past Leningrad. It is going to be a lot of fun, I think, doing this, but be warned, this is going to take a long time, so if you're watching this from the very beginning, wow, props for you. And if you're watching it near the end, hopefully when the series is wrapping up, I mean, that's fantastic as well. Just hope the video goes long, or not the video, sorry, the series goes on for a long time, and it's a lot of fun for everyone involved, because I know it's going to be fun for me. So, before we get into the game, I just wanted to let you know there's a primer video that I put out not too long ago today. Today being, of course, I don't know, the February 18th or something like that. I put the video out. I'll link it now in the annotation here. Hopefully you can see it. And it's just a quick understanding, or explanation rather, of the basic mechanics of the game. It doesn't go into all the details, doesn't go into everything. It's about a half an hour long, so it might be worth watching if you're unfamiliar with the game. If you are not exactly sure what you're looking at on the screen, it goes into some of that stuff just to kind of give you a leg up. And as the game's going on, I'll try and explain things as well. But if you're lost, you know, please feel free to refer to that, or there are tons of other games videos as well out there that explain how this game works, and I would recommend just searching for Gary Grigsby's War in the West tutorial, and I'm sure you'll find something that suits your preferences. So what I'm going to do here today is actually, you know what, before we get into that, let's just take a look here at the people that are involved. So of course we have over here the Soviets. These are all these nice brown people over here. Then up here we have the blues are the Finns, and in the middle here we have the Germans. And down here further south, if I can actually scroll, I can't scroll down, but we'll have the Hungarians and the Romanians, as well as some more German troops. That is basically who is involved in this this Western, or the Eastern Front, sorry. There's also some Italian units later on, but the game is mostly between the Germans and the Soviets. We're going to be playing as the Germans, of course, because why not? It's a lot of fun. I love playing from a disadvantageous source, and just kind of trying to give an example. Sorry, not an example. From just trying to be, you know, being the underdog, so to speak. I mean, of course, the Germans lost in real life, so it'll be fun. It'll be fun to play, I think. How I'm going to structure the videos, are that I'm going to split them up into 3 different videos per turn. In each turn, I'm going to break down the videos into the segments of the front that they cover. So up here we have Army Group North, down here we have Center, and down here we have Army Group South. Basically, each video is going to comprise one of these fronts. In the north, we'll have turn 1 will consist of Army Group North, and then we'll have another video for Center, then another video for South, and then we'll have turn 2, and so on and so forth. And that'll basically be how things go. That was a terrible sentence. I bungled that entire explanation, but just know that each turn will be broken down into 3 videos, and hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to follow for everyone, so that you're not watching a 45-minute to an hour video for every turn. I just feel like that would be too much to take in at one time, so this way, you know, you can watch how Army Group North does, and then you can, you know, take a break and come back the next day, watch Army Group Center, or, you know, whatever works best for you. So it's just a little bit more manageable. The palatable experience is what we're trying to go for here. So also, you know, that's something else to mention, is that we'll of course be using this pen tool. The program is Epic Pen. It'll just make it easier to hopefully highlight things. So, you know, if we're trying to go up here and capture Leningrad, I can tell you that we're going up there. We can try and do this, or, you know, we want to pocket these guys over here, things like that. It'll just make it a little bit easier to hopefully explain what's going on for the people who are watching, who may not be familiar with the game, or even if they are familiar with the game, who might not be able to follow my machine gun bursts of explanations that are so hard to understand. And yeah, I just think it'll be better off for everyone. So this episode here is going to look at Army Group North, so we'll get right into that right away here. Army Group North basically covers about this area here. That's more or less the Army Group North area that we're going to be working in this game. Up here we have our main objective, which is going to be Leningrad. We're trying to capture that as early as possible, as quickly as possible. That would be ideal if we could just, you know, make a dash right up there and capture it. But there's going to be a couple things we have to do in order to get up to Leningrad. So before we manage to take it, we're going to probably want to take Pskov up here. So we'll probably try and make our main dash, our main advance this way, and then we'll pivot a little bit going that way towards going north towards Leningrad. In real life, what happened with Leningrad was the Germans advanced north. They came within the city, I think within 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember the exact timeline, but basically they decided to surround the city and cut off the supply by going up here, and they kind of just made sure that Leningrad was surrounded from the south, and then I believe the Finnish came down and blockaded the north there, trying to surround the city, and then eventually they decided, instead of attacking it, to send their panzers elsewhere, and well, Leningrad was never actually captured by the Germans in real life. In this game, I'd like to capture Leningrad fairly quickly. I would like to be able to relocate troops down south or even into the east as quickly as possible, and Leningrad, I think, is a lot easier in the game to capture than it would have been in real life, so hopefully we can abuse that a little bit. I don't like to abuse mechanics, but hopefully we can do that a little bit. So basically, in order to do this on the first turn, we're just going to look at the first turn here. As I said before, we'd like to get to Pskov up there. If I can just perfect. Okay, so we'd like to get up here to Pskov over here, try and capture that as quickly as possible so we can then go north towards Leningrad. But on the first turn, I'd be really happy with taking Riga over here. The reason I want to take Riga is we have a single panzer group that is attached to this army group north. The panzer group is the Panzer Group 4, I believe. They're the pinkish ones. We'd be happy to take a panzer corps and send it up here towards Riga. And if we can't capture Riga directly, I'd like to be able to capture this hex here, just the little sliver of land there beside Riga, basically encircling these troops here, cutting them off from the rest of the Soviet supply, and so that they can't escape next turn, because next turn I'd like to be able to start surrendering them, to start capturing whatever material, whatever men we can, and just basically depleting the Soviet army. Early on in the game, what happens is, as the Germans, you want to try and cause as many casualties, as many surrenders as possible, and you want to try and advance as far as possible. Those are the main objectives, at least when I play, and that's how I like to do it. And I think most people who play this game would agree that's the best way to play as the Germans. Try and advance as far as possible, and try and deprive the enemy of as many troops as possible so they can't attack you from a really strong position later on. So, as we said, take Riga, and then we're going to try and move as far north towards Pskov as possible. So one Panzer Corps will go up here, we'll go up this way towards Riga, and the other Panzer Corps will try and get to this river. If we can get across the river, I don't know how much movement we'll have exactly. I'd like to get a little bit farther than the river, but as long as we get to the river, that's basically what I want to do. And then from there, next turn, if we can get to that river, we should be able to take the next turn and advance towards Pskov and capture that. I don't expect there to be a lot of counterattacks on the following turn after our turn for the Russians. They, historically, the Russians were in disarray for the first, well, probably until the winter months, when they finally were able to consolidate their position behind a winter line, and they were able to launch some counterattacks. Not even really counterattacks, just delaying actions, more like they were able to even out the battles more or less. In this game, it's going to be the same way for the most part. We're going to try and just take as much territory and as much material from them as possible, and then in the winter, hopefully try and survive any counterattacks they throw at us. So that's basically it. Get to the, as we say here, go back in here, is just get to the line and take Riga. Those are the two main objectives for the Army Group North here in the first turn. So without much further ado, we're going to go ahead and start that. So just playing the game. But before we actually start playing the game, let's actually take a few chances here to go for the bomb airfield node, and we'll try and get rid of a couple of these airfields if we can. Hit this one, we'll just try and destroy as many aircraft as possible. Here, of course, we're destroying utility aircraft. We'll just try and destroy whatever we can. We've got quite a few fighters on that one, 22 fighters down, and yeah. Early on in the game, I find it's very beneficial, especially on the opening turns, to just try and attack a good number of Soviet. That looks like that's it for our air forces on the north. To try and attack as many Soviet airfields as possible and try and cripple their air forces before they can really, escape them farther to the east, where they can relocate, or not relocate, they can repair themselves and salvage themselves and be used later on. So we try to eliminate those as much as possible as well. And here we go. We're going to go ahead and now start the attacks, I guess, for the infantry. Early on in the attacks for the infantry, One thing that I really like to do is move up with my infantry, try and attack, try and open up gaps in the lines as much as possible, and then from there we try and move the panzers and the motorized infantry up and through the lines, and in doing so we hope to really be able to get as much exploited territory as possible. Because early on in the game, this game is all about conserving your movement points so that you can get as far as possible, so that you can move as many movement points to move instead of for attacking, because of course when you attack in this game, it costs movement points to attack as well as to move. So for example, the 126th Infantry Division here, they have a quick recap if you didn't watch the video. So each card, each square has information on it. It tells you what the unit is, what the size of the unit is, and what its combat value and what its move values are. So at the top here, the 2 X's refer to the size, so this is a division. 2 X's are a division. The 2 cross lines tell us that it is infantry, so it's an infantry division. And then the 8 is the combat value of the unit, and the 16 is the movement value of the unit. Infantry have substantially less movement than, for example, if we look over here at this mechanized infantry, or even if we can find a panzer, and then this panzer over here. You'll also notice too, that not only do the infantry have a lot less movement, but the infantry themselves are generally not as strong as the panzers are. More armor, of course, being a little bit stronger, harder to deal with for other forces. So it's not that the infantry are weak in this game, as much as it is just that you need to try your best to use them in the right position. And the right position for them is to break down these positions so you can force a breakthrough on the first possible opportunity. That retreat there, what just happened there, sorry, I should have been talking about that. We tried to attack this spot here, and I wanted him to rout, but he moved back here instead. What I'm trying to do right now is open up these 3 provinces here, these 3 hexes, because you see there's a lot of open terrain behind it. If we can get our panzers to break out from there through this middle hex right here, that would be the best way for us to really get over towards, not only towards the river, but also up here towards Riga. So here we go. Now we're going to try our best, if I can remember what I'm doing, and we'll try and hit this guy hard. Well, actually, you know what? Well, no, we'll move up. I was going to attack this guy, but I think instead we'll go for a hard attack from this unit here. Now he routed, so that's good. He's out of the way. Pardon me, he's out of the way. And these guys will move up here. We'll try and rout this guy as well, push him out of that position, and there he is. He routs now, so he's going to be pushed all the way back. And now if we can just take this last security division and push it out of there, and there we go. Now we've opened up, as we were talking about before, we opened up these 3 hexes so that we can move our panzers right through that open spot. So let's go ahead and we'll actually, you know, before we move the panzers up, let's move up some of these more infantry divisions. We'll try and get as far as possible into the enemy lines. And the reason I want to do that is because later on, the goal here is going to be to try, as I said many times now, I'm sorry for repeating myself, but trying to get the panzers these ways like this. I want to try and get the panzers as far as possible so that they can next turn also move as far as possible, really trying to maximize our movement. If we were to, example, leave panzers down here when they could move all the way up to here, we're kind of like, that's like half the movement for the panzer that we've wasted this turn by leaving them in a defensive role. So the farther we can get our infantry division up to protect our supply lines through the enemy hexes here, the better. This may all seem a little bit confusing if you're not familiar with the game, but what you want to know here is that you have to keep your units in supply. You know, you can't just move your units past other units. You have to keep a open path of supply to your side, to your forces. For example, if we were to, this is a good example right here actually, if there was an infantry over here that was to move next turn, if we move nothing else, so this was just to end our turn right now, if we were to move if they were to move another force up this way and take these 2 hexes, or you know, flip these hexes from our control to theirs, these 2 units over here would be considered out of supply. They would be cut off, and they wouldn't be able to get supply that turn from the main supply depots back on our side of the line, and they would be less efficient fighting force. Later on, you'll see, and that's also why up here, why we're trying to cut off these forces over here, while we're trying to encircle them in a surround by trying to go up towards Riga. And the main reason we're doing that is because units in that, not only do units fight less efficiently inside of a pocket like that, but also units can't rout inside of a pocket. if you attack them, they will surrender instead of routing. The unit will completely evaporate and it'll be wiped off the map. You can of course build units again later on in the game, and they'll be rebuilt later on with new troops and new forces. But for a time being, you completely removed that unit, probably about in the neighborhood of, you know, for an infantry division or a panzer division, in the neighborhood of 17,000 men from the map, which is gigantic. And that's one of the main goals here as a German player. We want to remove as many forces as we can from the control of the Soviets. So we'll try and open up a little bit more on the flanks here. Actually, let's take this one unit. We'll take two. We'll attack with 2 units here, do a deliberate attack. Really hard trying to rout that guy out of there. Gonna retreat. Okay, fair enough. Respectable. Respectable. And I'm not going to go any further south. You can see here the lime green units down here. That's basically the difference between, that's the line that separates the south, or the center, Armor Group Center, from the north. So we have the north, and down here the center. And we're going to try and stay only for this video on this side of the line and try and move up that way. We don't want to try and stray into the Army Group Center line of attack. So let's go ahead and we will move these guys up now, I guess. We're going to try and avoid Kaunas, I think. We'll leave that for the other people. What are their names? The Army Group Center. But we'll try and move our guys up here a little bit, and we'll even, push some people out of the way here, help them out a little bit. Go ahead and rout those guys there. And now if we can, we'll move these guys up as far as possible. Just trying to protect our eventual supply lines when we move our actual panzers up and again through this line. So our infantry have all maxed out their movement there. Those guys, they've moved out as far as they can. So we're just trying to move these guys up now. And I think we're in a pretty good spot, actually. So I feel confident in letting our panzers loose right now. So let's go ahead and move them up. Can we get to Riga? We can actually get to Riga. That's good. So we'll have 7 movement left there if we move to Riga. And we can move across the river over here as well, which is nice. I like that. Let's move. I think we're going to move. Yeah, we're going to move to Riga. Can we have another motorized division attack with it? 6 movement. That's not quite enough, I don't think. Can we take this one here? Can it get to Riga? 7. There we go. So we'll move him. I'll move this guy all the way up here as well. And then we'll move this panzer into position here to also attack the city of Riga. Together, actually, let's see. Before we attack, we should also move the headquarters up. The headquarters will give the units a little bit more efficiency in combat because it'll be in their supply. It'll be within its radio command. You can see here the blue outline surrounding these units telling us that it is in command. And if you look down here, you'll see this unit in the red outline is also attached to this HQ, but it is currently out of radio command, radio range, I guess. So we have those 2 guys moved up, and you know what? We'll even try, because we're attacking across a river. What are we attacking actually? We're attacking a single rifle division and 2 HQs. So it's not, we should be able to win this, but just to demonstrate here, we'll go ahead and we'll assign a Pioneer Battalion, and we'll also assign another Pioneer Battalion. Yes, perfect. So we'll give these guys a little bit of a extra attack across the river, and now we'll try and do it. We'll go for we can't do a deliberate attack, so we'll have to do a hasty attack. The difference, of course, being a hasty attack uses less movement, but it's not as effective. Deliberate attack using more movement, but it is more effective. It's the difference between, a planned, prepared attack and a hasty, we just got to the objective, now we have to attack and try and take it. So let's try that out. And we are actually going to lose that attack. Oh, thought we were going to take it. That's too bad. So not only did we fail to take the objective there, we actually lost all of our movement. We used up all of our movement. Go and take a look at the battle, actually. How were the casualties? We lost 287 men, 6 AFVs, so probably 6 tanks, and 4 pieces of artillery to their 9 AFVs, and 101 men. So we you know what, I thought we were going to win that fight, I really did, but the Pioneers not quite enough to get across that river and into Riga. So as I discussed before, what I want to do here is, let's go back here to number 1, and we're going to have to try and move this this motorized division. Oh, sorry, that's not the right one. Do we have enough movement here? I'd really like to be able to take that. We'd have to go that way then. What I really want to do here is, of course, like I said before, I would like to, well, it doesn't really matter. I can take either one of these hexes, but I want to try and cut this line. I want to try and cut these people off from the Riga and the rest of the Russian supply line where it is weakest right now. So what we will do then is we will actually take our friend, the Totenkopf SS motorized division, and we will go ahead and put them right up here inside of this hex. That will, of course, as you can see here, we've cut off the chain of command. So now these or no, sorry, these now these guys are out of supply. Next turn they'll be out of supply, and anyone we attack within that radius will surrender if they were to rout instead. And now we have, of course, this Panzer, this motorized division, and as well, he's also got a. Let's see. Let's take a look at this Panzer Corps for a second. Actually, they have how many units? They have two motorized infantry division, a regular infantry, and then 2 Panzer divisions. I don't think we're going to be able to get across the river. We should be able to get to the river, though. Yeah, this guy can get to the river at least, so we'll go ahead, I think, and we'll put... You know what, we we'll come back to you in 1 second. Let's take these Panzers first, and we'll take this one Panzer, we'll put him over here, adjacent to the river here, trying to get him across if we can. Might even put him here, butting that what is that, the brigade, that, parachute brigade. Leave him there, and then the last Panzer division will move up. We'll try and put him here. So he's threatening to cross the river as well, but can't quite get across it. And next turn, hopefully we'll be able to get across. And then down here, of course, the motorized division. I think we're going to put him... Might not move him very far at all. We might actually move him right here, just to defend our supply line, so that we can't... these troops, the Soviet troops in here, can't try and escape out of the pocket that we've created back onto their side of the line. So we'll move that one motorized division there. We'll leave him there for now, and we might even go ahead and move up our headquarters and kind of put him in a bad spot if we can. I mean, I'd like to get this infantry up. No, we're gonna have to go ahead and put our headquarters in a weird spot here. So these guys are out of supply, out of radio command, but they probably won't be in a fight or anything, so it probably won't make a difference. I mean, we might as well, I think, we might as well just go and attack this unit here. We should win this fight, and they're actually going to shatter. I'm not exactly sure what the difference between a shatter and a rout is. I think they have virtually accomplished the same thing, but I'm not 100% sure on the rules behind that, so I'm going to have to look that up after this. So that's basically what we've done. As we talked about before, you know, we managed to accomplish, in essence, the 2 objectives we tried to meet. Wasn't quite as far north here as I would have liked. I would have liked to have gotten to about there or so. But we weren't also able to take this hex or Riga itself, but we still managed to cut off the line of supply. So it's you know, for what it's worth, we've cut them off. We'll hopefully be able to pocket or be able to destroy all the units in that on the west side of the of Riga now. So this turn here, we're gonna try and move up some infantry. The thing is, though, we don't want to attack too hard. It's a delicate balance. For example, here we'll attack this guy, and as you can see now, he's routed. So he stayed within the pocket that we've created, but because he was routed, I don't know if he's going to be able to escape next turn. So I don't want to rout units when possible, because I'd like to destroy all these guys next turn, but I want to get as much movement as possible out of my infantry divisions here, so that they can be as close to the next line of advance as possible as they need to be. Another one's going to rout there, so maybe I should just not attack these guys, but you know what, I'm fine with routing the security division. Actually, he's actually going to retreat. Okay, so that security regiment retreating there, but that's not a big deal either. Let's go ahead and move him up. And we're probably not going to push these guys too far. We might even leave these guys in this position and attack them next turn so they can surrender. Our infantry lagging quite far behind. This will mean, you know, we can honestly, we can advance our panzers as quickly as we want, but a big thing that slows us down is the supply line. In this case, early on in the game, you know, we should be able to get our panzers quite far. We should be able to get them quite far without running out of supplies, but we have to kind of wait for the infantry. If the infantry can't support these supply lines like it's doing down here, then we're probably going to get cut off with our panzers and whatnot, which is very dangerous for us, and it threatens to cause us casualties and slow us down even more. So waiting for the infantry is crucial, but of course, you know, you can't spend your whole time waiting for the infantry. You have to sometimes make risky decisions and try and get as far north as possible. Let's move. Well, he's not in a bad position to support. Maybe he'll support the attack there on Kaunas next turn. We'll get these guys up the line as well. Probably should have attacked that guy before they moved, but what can you do? And let's see. We can. I don't want to break any of these guys. I think I'm just going to leave them there for now. And that's probably going to do it for the Army Group North. Next turn, we should be able to come back here and hopefully advance towards Pskov, which again is this city right up here. And that's probably going to be a good start here. So thanks guys for watching, If you have any comments, concerns, or you're confused about anything, please let me know and I'll try and clarify whenever possible in the next video or in the comments or something. And other than that, guys, have a great day, and I will be back very soon.